We've isolated or we've hidden all of the layers that we don't need to see. So all of these millions of layers here we don't need to see anymore. And just to recap, we hid the bones that we'd made and locked them in place after we tweaked them. So they then don't appear on the actual kind of composition itself. So nice and clean, whereas that's got bits and bobs all over the place. So let's undo that. Need that controller. Go back to our compression mode, and there we go. Right, we've got two pelvis as well. Each pelvis kind of acts a little bit differently. So, for example, this one makes the whole character kind of rock back and forth. It's quite funny. Whereas that one does something different. So it leans almost. So yeah, we don't need both of them. So we're just going to hide one, and we're going to hide the one that's just called C pelvis. So C pelvis one. Click on the little shy layer thing, and shy it away. Don't need to see it. In fact, I'm going to hide it before we shy it away. So select it, little hide button, so we don't see it, so it doesn't get confusing, and shy it away. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to show you now is just a really simple walk cycle, which we're going to do. Before we do any walk cycle, you always do a walk cycle from reference. So we're going to go to Google, and we're going to type the word in walk cycle or simple walk cycle. So it's nearly done. Right, so simple walk cycle, and the walk cycle we're going to use is this one. You don't really want to do anything more complicated than that. Right, okay. So, in fact, no, I'm going to show you using. Yeah, no, I'm going to do that one. So select it and can view image. And make it nice and big. Okay, right. So sometimes it's good to print that out, but I've not got a printer, so I'm just going to do it like this. Right, where am I? Okay, so a good walk cycle in general, you do over about 1 second. It's quite a nice pace. That pace kind of changes depending on whether you're doing a run or like hops or anything like that. But generally speaking, we're going to make it about 1 second in length. So at the moment, our composition is bigger than 1 second. So to trim it down, there's a couple of ways to trim it down. You can go to composition settings and change the setting there. So that's number 1. So 0010000, or you can do it using this method. So with your work area, you've got this work area bar here. We're just going to trim that work area bar so it's only 1 second in length, which is there. If you hold shift, it snaps to where that timeline point is, which is quite handy. So once we've done that, we're going to right click and we're going to go to trim comp to work area. What that does is it just trims it down from whatever second it is, so it's just 1 second in length. Cool. Okay, so at 0 seconds, if I put your slider over to 0, what we're going to do, whatever that is, we're going to match the body position as best as we can to look like this. So the front leg is straight and the back leg is a little bit bent. And you notice the pelvis is kind of at a mid-ish point. So that's what we're going to do. So let's do this. So we're just setting it up to start off with. We're not going to be animating it. So this leg here, we're going to have out. This leg here is going to be back a bit. If you haven't got the bend in it, then we just take our pelvis and we just drop that down a little bit so that leg bends. You can then straighten that leg out. So it works the same with your anatomy. If you're someone who kind of pulls your kind of midway down a little bit, then your knees are either going to snap or they're going to bend. So that's that. Try to keep a constant line here where your character is going to be walking on. In fact, we're going to go to View, Show Rulers, and just drag a ruler line in so we can see where our points are kind of going to. So that heel is there, so it makes sense that that leg is at the bottom of the toe there is touching the line. And then tweak that up a little bit more. Okay, that's good. So next thing we're going to do is sort the hands out. So again, looking at the hand there, it's a little bit back. So we're going to grab our hand, put it behind it a little bit. So that'll do. And the front hand, depending on what kind of feel you want, it's just going to be stretched forward a bit. You don't want to, from experience, you don't want to move the arms as much as you think you're going to kind of move them. So check that. It's a bit too much based on that movement, so it's going to have it like about there. Has it got a lean on it? It's got a bit of a lean. So. Good stuff. Right, okay. So that's our starting position, which is kind of okay. Right, so we're going to keyframe everything, but we don't need to see the master, so we can hide that and show that away as well. Right, so to keyframe everything, we're going to be keyframing the positions. So we select the controllers that we've got, just hit P for position, and then as long as they're all selected, you can press the stopwatch for one of them, and it makes a stopwatch for all of them. So now with 0 seconds, we've got our starting position. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to our midway point now, which is this end point. So it's the point where the front leg ends up at the back. So you're always going to make your walk cycle simple to start off with, and then you make it more elaborate afterwards. So that midway point is about 12 frames. So it's 24 frames long. So 12 frames is your midway point. So pretty simple. Really, really, really kind of simply, we're just going to be taking our front foot. We're going to be moving the front foot to the position of where the back one is, and then moving the back one to where the position of the front one is. So that kind of bends back like so, and then this back one replaces that one. See, that's messed up a little bit there, but for the purpose of this, we're just going to keep it like that for the time being. And the pelvis on this one is a little bit lower compared to where that one is, so we can do that. We can select it and just nudge that down a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of okay. And the arms do the same kind of thing. So if you notice the wrong way, the back arm is where the front arm was, and the front arm is where the back arm was. So let's take that back arm, shift it down to kind of around there, take the front arm, and then that's just going to move to about there, making sure that the shoulder doesn't mess up too much. Okay, so that's the midway point. And obviously it's a cycle, put a walk cycle. So what we're going to do is make sure that it goes back to exactly the same position at the end. The easiest way to do that is just to copy the keyframes from the beginning, and then it creates a cycle. So at 0 seconds, we've got our first point. At the midway point, we've got the swap over, and then back at 24 frames a second, move over. We can now copy one at a time the keyframes from the first from 0 seconds and paste them at 24 frames, and that will create our cycle. So select our first keyframe so it goes yellow, Control C, Control V, and you do it one at a time. If you try to do them all at the same time, all it's going to do is it's going to copy your layers, and that causes a world of pain. So Control C, Control V, that one, Control C, Control V. So it's really crude what we've got. So it's a really, really simple kind of walk cycle, but it's a walk cycle that works. So now we've got the basic one sorted out. What we're going to do is we're going to tweak it so it looks a bit better, because it kind of looks like he's just doing a weird walkie skiing kind of thing at the moment. Okay, so first things first is we're going to animate the pelvis to go up and down. So you notice on our walk cycle point of reference, the pelvis kind of starts off in a certain position, it dips down a little bit, it then goes back up, goes up a bit more, and then goes back down again. So we're going to have that kind of that pattern to it. Remember, this is 0 frames, and that's our midway point. So once we've done it with the midway point, we then we repeat the process from 12 frames to 24 frames, which is the second half of the cycle. Right, so keep going the wrong way. So that point, that point there is 0 frames. That one is 3, 6, 9, and 12. So we're going to go over to the third frame and dip down the pelvis. So 3 frames in, we know we're at 3 frames because it says it there. We're going to grab our pelvis layer and we're just going to move that down a little bit. We're then going to move over to the 6th frame and one way again, that moves back up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It goes up a little bit more at that point, and then so on. So you get more of a dip to it. So then we'll repeat the process. 3 frames in, it dips down. 3 more frames in, it goes back up. 3 more in, goes right up, and then it dips back down again for the last frame. Cool, okay. Next thing is we kind of tweak the legs. So again, going to our point of reference, 3 frames in, the front leg is quite bent. So let's go 3 frames in, look at the front leg. So it's kind of bent, it's kind of going above that line. So we can select it and just tweak it a bit. The back leg, again, is going beyond the line. So that needs to be kind of quite stretched out. Three more frames in. You can see the back leg is lifted up and the front leg is straight. So my front leg needs to be straight. My back leg needs to be lifted up a bit more. Three more frames in. Which is this one. Back leg is straight at the back, and this one is bent up. So it's kind of about right. Can probably tweak it a little bit more, and then possibly shift that one back a wee bit. pelvis has just dropped down a little bit too much. That's better. And then you repeat the same thing with the second half of it. So second half, just start again. So 3 frames in, the back leg is bent a little bit, and the front leg has a bit of a bend. So 1, 2, 3. The pelvis is too low. We can just raise that up a little bit. So the front leg is, what did we say? The front leg is bent. And back leg kind of looks like that. 6 more frames, so 3 more frames in, it does that. So this back leg needs to be raised up. And then this one is perfectly straight. So we can just grab our pelvis and just move that up a little bit to straighten that out. It's a combination of adjusting the pelvis and adjusting the controller for each foot in order to get it looking right. Okay, so keep saving it as you go along, but the more you kind of tweak it at those 3 frame intervals, the better the whole thing is going to get. The main thing you need to just realise and remember is that the keyframes at 0 frames, you need to make sure they're exactly the same at 24 frames. So if we just give that a quick test, it's alright, it's not perfect, but with a bit more kind of tweaking, it could be really, really good. Okay, so another thing that animators do is that they will animate the bones for the thighs to move left and right at the same time, so then you get like a bit of a swing to the hips kind of going off. But there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to stop this one, and then I'm going to show you how to actually make a loop in a different composition in a second.